Morning, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's Saturday the 17th of December 2022. So happy Christmas, guys. Mrs. C had knitted me a Christmas hat, so we thought we'd better wear that if I don't want battered later today. So we've got the Christmas hat on, we're up here in the shed, and I'm going to finish off doing the install of the diesel heater and actually get it so I can use it. Right, so into the shed where we've been working at. You've seen my solar system previously, and that's what all these lights are and everything are running off. And that controller is hooked to a little 25 watt solar panel outside. The cable that comes down here, it controls this, which is my little thermometer. And that goes to this battery under the bench, and that is what's now powering the lights, the running water, etc, etc, etc. And then we have this solar controller charger here, and that's connected to a 100 watt solar panel up on the roof of this shed, charging this big leisure battery, which is already fully charged. What we've done now is we've taken out a 12 volt feed from this controller because it wasn't doing anything. And I've basically ran a cable down the back, very crudely, around there. I've pinned it in place, took it round through here, behind the water barrels, across here, and we're now into this little area here. And I decided this is where we're going to put it. It's going to sit on the bench, so it's at height that I can maintain it if I need to, or repair it if I need to. And I'm using the extension hose that I bought, not its own. That is actually still attached to the diesel heater, but it's only a very, very short length. So I'm pleased I bought this extension. So what I've decided I'm doing out the back of this shed, up above the roof, and then bring it round so rain can't get in it, so that all the fumes are above the roof. And I'm going to mount it on this bench. And as you can see, I've already done this to save you the trouble. So what I've done is I drilled a fairly big hole in the wood behind. And this is a heat shield block, which can withstand crazy temperatures. It's very expensive for it. It looks like a bit of chipboard. And you can cut it with a saw, etc. You can screw into it, as you can see I have done. And then what we're doing is we reduced the hole size to just the 1 inch. So we've got just a little bit of play on this, so I can push it back, or I can pull it back in, as you can see, so I can manipulate the heater. And what we're going to do there now is we're going to put 2 blocks and raise the heater slightly, because I don't want the exhaust touching the wood. I want it to come down and out. So that's the next job. You'll see I brought the wire through into this side from that leisure battery through there, and I've put what I call a little chocolate block on here, which I will, and it gives me 2 12 volt feeds if I need them, one for the diesel heater obviously. So we'll come in here and out of there, and we can always take other feeds off this by simply putting a link strap into here and give us another 12 volt feed out if we want. Right, as you can probably see, I've now mounted the heater onto these 2 4x4 blocks to give me a bit of space underneath for the exhaust. I've also routed the air intake correctly through the hole in the back and brought it out, and that'll go up here somewhere like that. Right, I had to try and work out. I've got my poundlands on again, look. I don't know what I'd do without these up here sometimes. Right, so I've got my coat off at least now. It's warmed up a little tad, but I had to work out how I was going to do this, attach it to the bottom of the unit, and then while the pipe was in situ, so I've had to pull the pipe right back through again, and we're going to do that now. We're going to attach it to the diesel heater now, and then we'll have to feed the exhaust back through there. Right, so this is the length of exhaust that I'm putting on it now, and this is the one that I bought just in case, and I'm pleased I did now. I think this is about 6 feet long, stretched out. So what I'm having to do is put a relatively sharp bend on this, but be careful if when you're manipulating this that you don't crease it and break it. Basically you've got to gently, very gently coax it around. It is flexible and it will bend. You just have to be careful that you don't rive it and put a hole in the stainless steel. So as we said we were going to do, I've now got the gasket seal, which is basically an exhaust permanent seal, guaranteed. So we're going to put some in the end of there, and we're going to put some around the collar on the exhaust out from the diesel heater as well. Sandwich the two together and nip it up with a Jubilee clip. And the hotter it gets, the harder this sets. So we'll get this assembled, because I haven't actually got the tripod to hand to be able to video this bit. So I'll get this assembled and I'll give you a look. Right, so I've now got the heat sealant inside, the exhaust sealant in there and on the underside of here, and I'm just going to sandwich these two together, but I can't video this while I'm doing it. Right, hopefully this will focus well enough for you to be able to see. So through this little slot here is where you tighten up your Jubilee clips. And we've got that tightened up, and you can see the paste up around the top, which I just need to smooth around. But watch your fingers with this, guys, because it can irritate your skin. So put a glove on, a PVC glove when you do this, just so that you don't get any damage on your hands. So we're just going to seal that paste around the top and put a bit more sealant on there. But that Jubilee clip is lovely and tight, as is the one on the arrows. And what else I've done here, just as an extra precaution for my own peace of mind, if I can get under here and show you, yeah, I've basically put a cable tie around the fuel hose. I'm not sure how well you'll see this, and tied it to the air intake, just so that that can't move over to the exhaust. That's just for my peace of mind more than anything. Right, what I've now got to try and do is to get this great big length of hose through that little hole in the wall with the diesel heater and everything. So let's see how this manages, how we manage this. It's got to go in, so let's give it a go. Ta-da! Right, it's in. I obviously need to manipulate it a bit and manipulate this exhaust pipe into place so that it's not touching any wood or anything like that, and then we can go around the back and get a metal plate on the outside of the wall to seal it back up again, and we'll get some fire cement round there to stop the rain and whatever coming in, and just seal it around there as well. I'm round behind the shed now. We'll just show you what we've done here. So what we've done is we've brought the exhaust out of the back of the shed, and then we've got the fire sealant around the exhaust, protecting the wood as well. However, if you remember, I said the hole was much bigger on this side, so it's not actually touching the back of the shed, it's only touching the heat resistant block. Then it comes out here, and at this point it will then be getting some air and start to cool anyways. So I might need to cut the plastic back a little bit more and put something else in there, put a bit more fire cement on. In fact, I may just pour some over that now. But basically what I've done was just used an old decking, bit of decking board, and I had some aluminium plate, which I cut a strip. It didn't need to be tidy, and I've just run it up here. And then with, of course, exhaust clips to hold this firmly and securely in place. And then I've brought the exhaust up away from, there's nothing to support this, it's just flopping about basically, and it goes up above the shed so that the fumes go up and above. So I've got the carbon monoxide meter as well for testing, I'm just going to finish putting some more fire cement around here, and then I think we'll just be about ready for testing. So we're almost ready to fire up the diesel heater, and this is going to be its permanent place. Now, as I said earlier, the reason I chose this place is because I'm going to buy some T-pieces, and what I'm going to do for now, we can just have that through this wall like that. But if I put a T-piece in here, I can bring off two feeds, one into this side of the shed and one in to that side of the shed as well. Now it means that bench there is pretty much out of action, but I am worried about that. I've still got the little shelf space above that I can use. So that was the reason why I decided it would go here. One, it's at level to work on and fill up, easy to fill, instead of trying to fight getting under a bench and pull it in and out and one thing and another and disturbing the exhaust pipe, etc. So we've got a bit of aluminium tin cut now underneath here just to protect the bench from the exhaust, and it is clear from the bench as well. So that's just to protect the bench from any heat. I've got now some black fire cement which I'm going to finish off in there, and I've got the back all fastened up, and we're going to black fire cement around the back of there as well. Right, we've just put the power to the unit now, and we're just starting it up on low power at 1.4. We also have the solar controller charger and the solar panel connected, charging the battery while we're drawing this time. So hopefully we won't have any hiccups. But what we did learn is you need to start it on low power initially till it gets up to temperature, and then we can crank it sky high. Right, as you can probably hear, it's now running, but we had problems again. And let me tell you what I found. So there's a couple of possibilities. We know that the leisure battery was fully charged, it was as topped up as it could possibly be, and whilst it was trying to fire up the first time, the solar controller charger kicked in and started trying to feed the battery as well. However, it failed to start, and it came up with E01, which is a lack of power basically. And I was a bit confused by that, so I went and disconnected the solar panel, and then I thought I'll just take a straight feed just to see if the solar panel was playing a part in that, and I got exactly the same problem. So I can only assume it was because of the length of this cable, away, the distance we are away from the battery, and this was slightly warm, so perhaps the cabling is not heavy duty enough. So what I done was I brought in the other battery we charged with the 100 solar panel, 100 watt solar panel on the last video. But what I done was I set the voltage on this, so you can see the voltage now, and I watched the voltage, and the voltage dropped all the way down to 10.6 before it got ignited. And then of course once it was ignited, it draws less power and it's steadily climbing back up. It's at 11.7, 11.8 now, and as you can hear, the engine is running down now because it's up to temperature. But now I'm going to get this cranked right up and you'll see the draw on the battery again. So just give me a couple of seconds till I get the remote. We're going to check it up full pelt. And you should see, I don't know whether now that it's ignited it will have such a draw on the battery or not, but actually no. Oh yeah, so you may see, focus, you may see that temperature start to drop again. No. So turning the power up, it would appear once it's ignited has little effect on the power draw. So once you've got the chamber lit, you can then crank the power up, and the battery is taken a little bit out. We did get up to 12, so So it is taking a little bit out. Let's just see how far this goes and how much it pulls down to. I'll bring you back in a minute. Yes, seems to be running very, very nicely, and it's not consuming a lot of diesel either. So it's stabled out, as I say, 11.4, 11.5, 11.4, 11.5. When it actually gets your room up to temperature, it would then fall into economy mode, and by that time you would be lovely and toasty. But to heat a big room like that, it'll take a while for it to do that. And of course, it goes without saying, never install one of these without a carbon monoxide monitor, even though we've done everything to try and circumvent any exhaust fumes coming in. Better safe than sorry. So we filled this up again yesterday, not quite to the brim, so it's about a good 3/4 of a tank, and we're going to see how much we can get out of this on 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Bearing in mind I'll only be using this for a few hours while I'm up here, each time I'm up here, guys. Right, we can say this is now, heat has been running for 30 minutes. Let's say we took the 5 minutes to get it to produce any heat at all. Okay, so it's now been running for 30 minutes. It's 12 p.m. Here I have a weather station that we installed, which runs off this solar controller here and the battery under the bench. And of course you can see it's got the date, time, month, etc. And what you'll notice here, that's the moisture content. That is the internal temperature of this unit, 11 degrees. That is the polytunnel, 4.6. I have a temperature sensor down there. The next one that comes up will be the dry area, 5.8, which was lower than that. So heat is even filtering through these top vents out there, although it's significantly cooler out there. And as you can see there now, it's got up to 6 and 4.6 in the polytunnel, so it is gently getting warmer. And in here we're now on 12.1, so that's only half an hour's running. And what's more, today I have lots of cool air passing through these ventilation strips at the top. Now what I might do, I don't think it's going to be necessary, but obviously I won't get the room up to temperature as quick as if I don't. So what I'm thinking of doing is leaving maybe 1 or 2 and blocking every other one up. So I'm still getting the air and still getting ventilation, or I might even block them all up, to be perfectly honest, and maybe just leave, I don't know, maybe one on that far corner there and maybe this one up here. Just 2 ventilators, so I've got some airflow in here just to keep the place dry. So I might do that, and that will significantly improve. And it's not even insulated, this shed, by the way. So I am seriously impressed with this little heater, and in such a short space of time it's really comfortable in here at the moment. Now yes, it's only 12.2, but you can see it's climbing all of the time that this heater is running. So I reckon about an hour and that could easily be 21 degrees. It's a little over an hour now, well 35 minutes just coming up. I always thought this was the internal temperature of the unit, but it turns out it's not. It's this room temperature. Again, in the polytunnel you're just seeing 4.9. Hang on, let me just turn that off. There we go. 5.1 in the dry area, 4.9 in the polytunnel, It's blown a gale and it's absolutely freezing still. I can't even believe it's above freezing, to be honest. But anyway, so we're just a little over an hour, and we're now on 15.3, and boy am I pleased. It's bitter out there, but at least I've come in for a warm now, and it's noticeable. As soon as you walk in the room, the heat hits you. It's absolutely the best thing I've ever done up here, this, especially for the cold weather. And as I say, we've still got the drafts blown through here as well, so it's doing exceptionally well for just a little over an hour to get it from 2 degrees, I think it was 2.9 or something, up to 15.4. So I'm not sure of the differences between the two temperatures here, because as you can see, this here is blowing, but it's blowing all the way down. You can probably just see that carrier bag blowing gently from the blower. So whether it's blowing most of the heat to this end, and down this end it's 17 degrees, 17.1, and it's just the location of this, where I have this one, it's going to give us a pretty good indication either way. So we can say it's at least 15.5 in that area there, and potentially at the bottom end of the shade it's 17. But you can see the moisture content has dropped significantly now, down to 57, where I can't remember what it was, I'd have to look back on the video, but it was really high, so damp basically. But yeah, a little over an hour, and I'm seriously impressed with this little diesel heater. Right, so this probably will be the last video until after Christmas now. But as you can see, I'm sitting here with my little heater behind me, blowing warm air all over me, and it's lovely, absolutely beautiful. I'm so pleased I've got this set up now. I have had another check round the back just to make sure the exhaust isn't causing any damage to the shed, etc. But the other beauty about this is it goes through, when you knock it off, it goes through a cooling down phase, and it even makes it so that the exhaust is stone cold. So that's another good thing, another added bonus with these diesel heaters. They go through the cooling down phase and it just blows cold air right through the systems to cool the unit down, and including the exhaust. You can actually, shortly after it turns off, you can actually touch that exhaust and it's cold. So another massive bonus. Right, as always guys, thanks for staying with me, thanks for following me along, thanks for all your likes, dislikes, your comments, subscriptions, and your donations of course, and I really do appreciate it. All that's left for me to say now is a Merry Christmas to all my subscribers and anyone who watches the videos. I'd like to wish you all the best for 2023, and let's hope next year is a slightly better one than the last 2 or 3 we've had. I just want to wish you a happy and prosperous 2023 to you and all your family. As always, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe and be practical. Keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again in the new year.